Welcome to the Offshore Club's fun-filled, fact-filled, fast-paced, blockbuster podcast, Coffee with Carib Carter, coming to you exclusively from where the sun never sets on the good life at a great price. And now, fill up your favorite coffee mug and join your expert and your guide, Carib Carter Clews.
Welcome to the first annual, hold on here, Christmas edition of Coffee with Carib Carter. Look at that. Look at that. Unbelievable. Believe it or not, I found that years ago. Excuse me, Santa. I got a show to do now. Thank you. Okay. I found that years ago. Somebody had thrown it in the trash. I did Santa Rescue, folks. So there we go. It's Christmas time, and we are going to have a great time on the first, as I say, annual Christmas with Carib Carter, Coffee with Carib Carter. So welcome. Good, as Andy Griffith used to say. The first is with someone you know and like. I know because of the notes you've written to me about the first time we had her on 2 weeks ago, Charlotte Tweed, the editor of Insider Magazine at escapeartist.com, our sister organization. She's just wonderful. And she'll come to us from Nicaragua, okay? Where she is having a wonderful time and where you should move to and have a wonderful time as well. Okay, so that's interview number one. Interview number two is with someone else you know. And again, I know you like him because I get your notes. Romulus, the investment analyst. Okay, Romulus, the investment analyst. I hope you've been reading his columns that have been coming to you in your Offshore Club newsletter, the Offshore Club Gazette, which if you happen to be seeing this on a Rumble or Facebook or something and you're not a member yet of the club, make sure to go to offshore.club, subscribe to the newsletter, the Offshore Club Gazette, because it is free. Daily you get it, and people love it, and you cannot beat that price. Okay, it's my favorite price for anything. Free, great newsletter, offshore.club. And Romulus writes he is our investment guru. You know, we have now at your Offshore Club, folks, we have the Guru's Corner. And he's the reigning investment guru at offshore.club. So we're going to talk to Ron later. Before we get to that, though, let's do a little housekeeping. First of all, remember, folks, follow me at Facebook and at LinkedIn and on Rumble because I post at least once a day. I try to post twice a day with updated information about what's going on at the club, about incredible offshore opportunities. So make sure to follow me, push that little like button because that helps us get more followers. I have no idea how that algorithm works. All I care is it does work. So make sure to follow Carib Carter at Facebook, push the like button, and let's expand this universe. We are up to 130,000 members, folks, okay? In the U.S., Canada, even outside the U.S., have some from Europe I get great messages from. And I all direct them to the same place, and that's make your move to the good life at a great price offshore in Central and South America, okay? And it's wonderful. Wait do you hear Charlotte's interview? Because we put it together earlier. And when she talks about her life in Nicaragua at Grand Pacifica, some of you are going to be reaching for your passport. I swear to God, you really are. It's that good. So make sure to follow me on the social media, and I'll keep coming to you there. And before we get to the first interview, because I don't want to take up your entire day with this Coffee with Carib Carter, even though I enjoy talking with you and I enjoy hearing from you, make sure to write to me. Let me add that before I move on. Carib Carter 7, the number 7 at gmail.com. Carib Carter 7, the number 7 at gmail.com. Write to me. I always respond. If you write to me, I will respond, even if you say something negative. I got an email recently from a guy saying, I don't like what you said about Biden's Build Back Better plan. And he said, because he said, I love your stuff. He said, I love you. I watch Coffee with Carib Carter. He said, but I don't like what you said. He said, because I work for, and it was a major, major PR lobbying company in Washington. And he said, we're helping with that plan. I said, so I wrote back and said, hey, my friend, I used to be a lobbyist and PR man in Washington myself. I appreciate your coming to your client's defense. We're just going to have to agree to disagree. And he was very gracious. He wrote back and said, all right, that's what we'll do. He said, but I can tell you enjoy what you're doing. I enjoy what you're doing. I enjoy what I'm doing. So we'll just keep corresponding. So we did. Got another one, someone who said, I'm not going to watch you anymore because I love Joe Biden. It takes all kinds. So I just wrote back and said, well, Merry Christmas and more power to you. But I answer everyone. And like, as I say, I get hundreds, and they're all very positive, some very serious questions. Sometimes it's where I recommend moving and based upon the criteria they give me. And I always say, okay, based upon your criteria, like sometimes I'll say Uruguay. Sometimes I'll say, what you're saying makes me think Paraguay. Sometimes I'll say, hey, what you're saying is exactly La Ceiba Beach Club, where my place is. One wrote to me and said, I want to be out away from everything. I said, there's no doubt. VistaBonitaHonduras.com. Check it out. It's where I bought my first home, essentially outside of a little town called El Pino. It was wonderful. And another one wanted all the amenities. Want to live offshore with all the amenities? I said, GrandPacifica.com. GrandPacifica.com in Nicaragua. So keep those cards and letters coming, as Dean Martin used to say. And I'll keep responding to them. And I thank you very much for them. As to we usually do the $1,000 listing Caribbean. We can't do it today because I'm at my brother's house and his printer won't print color. So I can't show you my pictures. I love show and tell, and I can't do it, but trust me, I had a great one in line for you in Dominican Republic, about 100,000, gorgeous condo and a gorgeous community right on the water. When you see it next week, you're going to say, wow, how do I contact him? And of course, I'll tell you exactly how to do it. So we'll be back to $1,000 listing Caribbean next week. Mad Max, there's a great column at offshore.com that I just wrote, a Clues Views column that you might want to read, which is a great Mad Max report explaining why those who are writing to me, and there are myriad, saying, I'm ready to get out. I can't take any more of this. Why you are right to make that decision, and why it is the better part of valor to do what you're doing. So check that out for the Mad Max report. And the other thing, I want to urge you, if you want a Mad Max report that's going to be stunning for you as to what's really happening in this country, and has happened for the past 2 years, go to WashingtonExpose.com, okay? And you're going to see and our super producer, Brian, will put up on the screen here, WashingtonExpose.com. You're going to see an interview with a gentleman named Jeffrey Tucker, okay? Jeffrey Tucker, who I think is the most brilliant intellectual on the center-right side of the political spectrum in America today, and a delightful person, just wonderful. And the interview that we did, I have two co-hosts, Bill Wilson, who's one of the great political strategists of all time. I've known Bill 40 years. He is number one. And Larry Ward, the top internet technology guy, owns political media. We interviewed Jeffrey. And folks, go to WashingtonExpose.com. If you want to get a Mad Max report that is going to make you a Mad Max, watch that interview. What Jeffrey reveals about what was done in the final year of the Trump administration to Trump by it's called the bureaucrats' betrayal. You're going to be stunned, and it's going to make you all the more say, you know what? I've had it. I don't have to live like this, and I don't want my family to have to live like this anymore. So you watch it, and then, that's as Mad a Max as you're probably going to be in quite some time. But the good side of it is going to encourage you to go ahead and say, all right, look, I can live much better in the sun, sand, and surf of Central and South America than I can here, have more freedom. without all the chicanery. That's a good word for it, and the chicanery. And so it really will encourage you to make your move. Okay. So let's go to our first interview. It's with, as I said, Charlotte Tweed, who is your friend. You know her from 2 weeks ago. And Charlotte is just the editor of Insider Magazine, which I think you should subscribe to. It's $100 a year right now as a special introductory offer. You can get it through your Offshore Club for 60% off. I mean, that's an incredible deal. And it is the best offshore magazine in the world. I'm not going to pull any punches about it. And Charlotte's the editor. She's fantastic. Those who remember from 2 weeks ago will say, "Yeah, she really is. You know, she really is fantastic." So let's talk with Charlotte. Let's hear what she has to say, because I think you're going to like it. Charlotte, how are you?
I am fantastic. I'm in Nicaragua. How can I be anything else?
What is just so most of our viewers will be very envious. What is the temperature there right now?
Right now it's about 30. Well, sorry, I'm Canadian, so I'm Celsius. That would probably be 95 Fahrenheit. But there's a beautiful breeze. It's a little overcast today, so
we can see the leaves moving. It's so funny. You know, here's what's funny. I just got a call from my wife. I'm down with my brother, you know, taking care of him because he broke his hip. So she's up in York. I'm down in Maryland. I just got a call from her and said, and folks, most of you know, and I think, Charlotte, you know, my wife is from Honduras, right? And so she called, said, "Amor, es muy frío aquí. Es muy malo. It's very cold and very bad." So I can guarantee you she wishes she is where you are right now.
Yeah, it's beautiful today. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I know we got to get on, but I got to tell you, the first winter she was here, now Rachel has been here 4 years almost now, a little over 4 years. The first winter here, every time we went out the door, and folks, when you hear this, it's going to make you realize, the more you need to be where Charlotte is. Every time Rachel and I went out the door, my little Honduran wife, she would turn to me and say, "Amor, nobody should have to live like this in the wintertime."
It doesn't have to be that way. The first time I left Canada in the winter, I never understood the snowbird thing. I'm like, why does everybody leave? And then I left one winter. Well, actually, I shouldn't even say winter. It was April, but it was still winter where I was. And I get it. Now I get it. I can smell fresh cut grass. It's warm. I don't have to bundle up. And after that, I was hooked on getting out of Canada in the winter.
And folks, as you know, those of you remember, Charlotte, you were on about 2 weeks ago, right? I think it was about 2 weeks ago.
Just over 2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, and Charlotte, thank God, is going to be with us twice, the first Monday and the third Monday of every month, which is fantastic. And Charlotte is the editor of Escape Artist, incredible magazine, Insiders Magazine, right? Tell us, and I'm going to ask her to tell us about Insiders Magazine, but as you're listening to her, remember, you can subscribe. And if you do right now, in response to this incredible introductory offer, I'm going back to my infomercial writing days, you can get a full 60% off. So act now. Charlotte, tell us about Insiders Magazine.
Well, we just published our December edition yesterday. It comes out the first of every month. It's a digital magazine. And our topic this month was tropical escapes. We felt that was fitting for December when people are starting to think about where I should go to escape the winters that we were talking about, you know, where you go outside and your nose freezes shut because it's so cold out.
Yeah.
So we have countries covered in there from Nicaragua to Belize, Panama, St. Lucia. We have topics that we talk about cryptocurrencies. It's a very varied magazine. It's libertarian content. And we have offshore bank specialists write for us, international lawyers write for us, Carter writes for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have international developers that have been developing in Central America for over 25 years that write articles for us. And we talk about getting your second passports, residencies, everything that you need to move from your country.
It's a great magazine. I got my edition yesterday, and it is excellent. I think I've been getting it now for well over a year, and I think Charlotte, you're doing a great job, because this was the best edition ever. It really was. And folks, this is a magazine you want, because you're not going to get this information anywhere else. And Charlotte, I get hundreds of emails a week from Offshore Club members asking me questions about the very things that you're talking about here. The other day I got one from a gentleman, I think it was Russ was his name, and said, Carter, I need you to tell me about permanent residencies offshore, right? And I said, Russ, I'd be happy to, except I know nothing about that. I'm a lifestyle guy. At your club, I said, you need Charlotte. Is who you need, an escape artist in Insider Magazine. I mean, that's excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Telling people country by country where the best residencies are, and the banking, all that kind of stuff, which is just so vital for people. I mean, we can, at Offshore Club, we can help you get there, folks. But what you do once you get there is up to this lady right here. So
Exactly.
that's wonderful. That is wonderful. So for the folks who, now you're at Grand Pacifica, right?
I am at Grand Pacifica, yes.
Okay. We have a letter going out today, an email to club members specifically about Grand Pacifica. Now, folks, if you don't have it yet, you'll soon be getting it. Pass it along to all your friends and neighbors, because it really lays out for you how incredible Grand Pacifica is, where Charlotte is talking to us from in Nicaragua. And tell us, what was your life like this? Because, folks, I want you to make that move. Tell us what your life was like this past week at Grand Pacifica.
There's a tractor coming by.
There we go. I like that little rural touch there. I like that.
So I'll give it a second.
Very nice. I like that. Good.
It's kind of like living back in Canada in the 1970s. In a small community, there's children riding around on bicycles. The only traffic that goes by is the odd golf cart and tractor, like you saw there, because they keep the grounds meticulous here. It's fantastically gorgeous. But this past week, we did go out and experience some of the local flair. So we had our driver take us to a grocery store in San Rafael, which is closer than driving to Managua. And he came in to help us shop because it was a new store and we don't speak Spanish, picking up little phrases here and there, but sometimes we need some help. So he came in with us, and I was going to buy a little bag of limes. And he looked at me and he said, do you want these? And I said, well, yes, I want them. And he said, no, I'll give you limes right from my tree, fresh from my tree. Put those back. So I said, okay, sure. Anything fresh off a tree, because I'm from Canada, it excites me. So I said, okay. So we got our groceries, put the limes back. He calls them lemons. We call them limes.
That's
so
right.
He drove us to his home, very modest. He said, I am a poor man, but I am blessed. It's very modest home, the concrete homes. There was a turkey in the yard, 2 dogs, 3 cats. He introduced us to his beautiful family, his wife and his daughter, who is 8, showed us his orchards, and he had cut limes right off the trees, gave me 20 limes that were twice the size of the ones that were in the grocery store. And the smell of those limes, I've never smelled anything like that. It was so fresh and it was like sunshine in my hand. It was beautiful. And he said, do you want some corn? Okay, sure. Grabbed his machete, took my husband into the cornfield, hacked corn right off the corn stalks, gave them to us.
It's wonderful.
It was the most incredible experience, and so humbling. So humbling that he welcomed us, who are strangers, into his home, introduced us to his family, shared what he had with us. He's got pineapple trees in his yard, banana trees, plantains, oranges,
everything.
And when they were briefly shut down here for COVID, when it first hit, he's, well, what can I do? He hand dug his own well.
Wow.
hand dug a well, turned his well on. His daughter drank right from the well. Perfectly clean, healthy, fresh water.
It's just, that is so refreshing and so delightful. One of the things my brother and I do every evening since I'm down here now is watch Andy Griffith's show. And it's like you're describing Mayberry. I keep waiting for Gomer to pop up in the corner and say, Shazam!
He just might.
He just might.
And somebody might walk by Opie with a fishing pole. So.
And what you're saying, folks, this is real.
This
is real. This is not. It's not something like, and yet you have all the perfect amenities at Grand Pacifica, right?
I mean, a store just opened up just outside the gates, so they will be stocking it freshly. It's not completely stocked yet. They have dry goods, everything there, so you can go there and get dry goods. But they will be bringing in meats and eggs and veggies as well. So that's coming even closer. So that will be fantastic. People here are really excited about that.
Yeah, that's just wonderful. My wife, as you know, because we talked about it before, I bought a home in Honduras at La Ceiba Beach Club, which is another gated, guarded community. It's not as lush and with all the amenities of some, totally established community like Grand Pacifica, but it's very, very nice. And my wife went down. I couldn't because I was stuck up here, and spent a couple of weeks. And every morning she would tell me that she was having the fresh eggs from the farm outside the gate and the milk from the cows outside the gate. And then she would have her coconuts and bananas and oranges for breakfast. As you're saying, off the tree, folks, this is the real life down there. So get out of where you are and get down where Charlotte is.
If you're thinking about it,
it is. It's a very, very simple game, and it's very affordable. Let's talk about a little bit. We have a few minutes left. Let's talk about cost of living, because that's what I always say. Now, look, up here in the U.S., I don't know how it is in Canada. Thank God I've never had to live under Trudeau, but in the U.S., inflation is now 20%. Now, the government here is lying, as it has since the beginning of Biden destroying the economy, and is saying, oh, no, it's only high single digit. That's known as a lie. Okay. Anybody wants to know, look at Shadow Stats, John Williams Shadow Stats. It's 20%. You don't have to look. Go to the gas station. Charlotte, I went to fill my Jeep up last weekend. And when Trump was president, I can tell you exactly what it cost to fill my Jeep up when it was on a quarter tank. And that was $43. You know how much it was this last Saturday? $70.
Oh, wow.
$70. I'm gonna have to get a motor scooter if this keeps up. So let's talk cost of living in Nicaragua.
Well, I'll give you groceries as an example. We went and bought steak. We didn't buy steak when we lived in Canada. A ribeye steak was $3. And I told that to my brother today. And it was a beautiful steak. Beautiful steak.
Wow.
Good quality. It was $3. I told my brother that, and he's, well, I'll let you know. I'm going to the grocery store today, but he said, I bet a ribeye is $30. And I know for one steak. And I know when I was talking to you, he was there and looking at steaks, and it was $36 for a steak. We had a massage from a lady who came right into our house. It was $20 an hour for a deep tissue massage. My brother went and got a massage. He goes, you want to know how much a deep tissue massage costs today? He said 6 months ago, it was $140 for 90 minutes. He said today, it was $250.
Holy mackerel. $250 as opposed to, how much was it for you? 20. Folks, you got to get down there. Just the money you'll save in the first year alone will cover the cost of your move.
Well, it's unreal. And even, to get a housekeeper, to someone to come in and do your cleaning, because face it, most of us don't enjoy cleaning or don't have time to do the cleaning. You can hire a housekeeper to come in and clean your home. And I'm not just talking a dust and a vacuum. They pull out the refrigerators. They cleaned inside the refrigerator, pulled out the stove. You can get that done for like $8 to $10.
Unbelievable.
It's those little things that really you go, wow, that was a culture shock for me.
That's wonderful.
you know.
That's
So,
wonderful. And let's make something clear, because I think it's important. Folks, this is not exploiting these people. That's
no.
good money for them. That's
Yeah.
that's good money, and they live that they are able, just like when you get there, you're going to be able to live very well off that kind of money. I mean, it's just that simple. So don't worry about, well, geez, no, it's not. That the cost, years ago, I went to visit with the ambassador to Honduras. This was 10 years ago. And I said, I don't understand how the cost can be so low, you know? And he said, well, it's because that's our economy. He said the people, most of us live very nicely down there. We have poverty like anywhere else does, but that's just our economy. You get the cost low because that's the cost of production down there. That's the cost of transportation down there. And so everybody benefits from it. So it's wonderful. It is absolutely wonderful. And let's, in the few minutes we have left here now, talk to the people. Well, I want to finish up talking about escape artists for a minute, but let's talk about the people themselves, because that I got to tell you, when I lived I lived on Roatan Island, and then I lived to have my own home in way out in an obscure outpost in Honduras, which my wife sold. She didn't want to be in an outpost. Bought 2 other homes near, where there were people. But the people. Talk about the people. The in your case, the Nicaraguan people.
The Nicas. They're very warm, very friendly. We felt safe everywhere we go. Our driver that I gave you the example of before, who took us to his home and gave us produce right off his tree. Raphael, people like him, and hard workers. Like, it's when they came and cleaned the house, like the house, 2 hours, and the house is clean from top to bottom. It'll take me 2 hours to clean my bathroom. It's incredible. Yeah. Very friendly. And I don't speak Spanish yet, but I'm trying to learn a few little phrases, and they absolutely love it when you try and speak their language.
Yes.
They really appreciate that. So I have a long way to go on that, but the more I'm here, I'll catch on a lot quicker.
Well, and I had the same experience in Honduras. The people were wonderful. Remember, one day a guy came by to fix something on the porch, and while I was there, he said, Senor, I need to cut down the palm tree while I'm here. I said, cut down my palm. He said, yes, it's leaning toward your house. When wind blows, will fall. I said, thanks. I mean, no time at all. All of a sudden, it was gone. I mean, there was a big palm tree. I think it cost me $5 or something. Cutting down a tree up at my place in West Virginia is $300. So that's a pretty good deal. Yeah, that's a great.
The ingenuity they have. One of the other expats I was talking to said that I can't remember what was wrong with her roof, but something needed to be done on her roof. And she said he went and grabbed wood and built a ladder right in front of me and put the ladder up and crawled up on the roof.
Wonderful. Yeah.
She was a little horrified for his safety, but he's like, they're fine. That's what they're used to. So.
Folks, it's like, if I can say it in some ways, in a very delightful way, it's like throwback living. It really is.
Oh, it is, completely.
Yeah. So before we close, tell people a little bit about Escape Artist, and that they need to go every day to escapeartist.com. I get your emails, which are outstanding. You're doing a super job. So tell them a little bit about Escape Artist and what to look for there, and to go there every day. Right?
All right. Well, I'm the main writer for Escape Artist. So we write about expats. I interview expats, put that content on the website. Like you said, we're very varied with cryptocurrency and going offshore. Talk about countries, different benefits of different countries that we love. It's a one-stop shop for everything you need to plan your escape from where you are.
It's fantastic. And which you have done. Congratulations. So, Charlotte, thank you. It's great seeing you again. Merry Christmas. You're not going to have a white Christmas.
Feliz Navidad.
What'd you say? Feliz Navidad.
I can say that this year.
Singing White Christmas, it ain't happening. All right. Thank you very much. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you, Carter.
Thanks for joining
Bye.
us. Bye-bye. Wow. Smart, delightful, well-informed, and frankly, folks, living the life of your dreams. Okay. I mean, you could see it in her countenance, you could hear it in her voice and in what she had to say. She is living the life of your dreams and mine. I want to make that clear. That's why I own not one but two homes in Honduras, and I'm looking to buy in Nicaragua, which by the way, I think is my number one recommendation is Nicaragua. So what an incredible interview. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I really do. And I'm sure you did. Write to me. Let's talk about it. If you need to get a message to Charlotte, any questions you have for her, send them. Carib Carter 7, the number 7 at gmail.com. I'll pass them on to her and you'll hear directly from her. And do go to escapeartist.com, our sister organization. It's a great organization and it deals with a lot of the things we don't. You know, your club, your offshore club is lifestyle. We help you find the place to live, again, of your dreams. And then any technical type questions you have in there, second citizenship, residency, banking, all that. Escape Artist is the number one place to go. Okay. So with Escape Artist, Offshore Club, you get the best of both worlds. All right. So it's great nexus there. Great nexus. And speaking of the best of both worlds, let's add in yet another world, the world of investing, and talk with Romulus. Now, Romulus, as you know, because if he likes to keep his identity secret, simply because he is has a lot of big clients and all that kind of stuff, and some of them wouldn't be too happy to know maybe that he's giving stuff away. So, but we prevailed upon him to give you the same kind of information, analysis, investment analysis that he gives to major clients after years and years of Wall Street experience. And always keep in mind, we're not saying you should make these investments. We're saying there are things for you to consider, and you each make your own decision, realizing what is the thing is past performance is not any of that whole business. I'm not going to get into that. You're smart enough to know whether you want to follow his lead, not follow his lead. But I think he said like a 20% return over the past for decades now. And that's Warren Buffett territory. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So let's talk to Romulus now and see where he sees the market right now to help maybe guide some of your decision making. Romulus, welcome to Coffee with Carib Carter. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, Carter. It's so nice to have a chance to speak with you again. And I want to really graciously thank you, because I'm grateful for the opportunity to be a part of this. I've been doing a little bit of writing, and people that are reading the newsletter, and I know everybody watching and listening today is an avid reader.
Yes.
They've been reading the newsletter coming out every week. So you see my stuff on the side. It's Romulus. I've been in the business in stock market trading, investing, teaching for more than 27 years. Wow. I'm not the best in the world, but I'm right up there. And to be side by side with you, one of the best in the world at helping people live the good life at a better price, it's an honor.
Well, it's an honor to have you on, and thank you for we've been together for several weeks now, and the material you are putting out for free on at Offshore Club and in the Offshore Club Gazette newsletter is just outstanding. It's excellent market analysis, Romulus. So thank you very, very much. I'm thanking you on behalf of every member of the Offshore Club, because I hear from them and they love it.
Well, so I'm glad, and I hope that it can continue to help. I'm trying to do my part, keep myself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically in top shape. Carter, I know that recently you have been putting together a little cadre of very high-skilled professionals, just a handful, just a very select group of people, so that you can bring even better thought process and work and ideas to your group. You have stock market guy. That's me.
That's
but you brought on a health person, I believe, maybe. So if you could, I just interviewed somebody, one of my own centurions, who runs a personal training professional business out of Miami now. And we talked about the physical part. They're tied together.
Yeah.
If your physical aspect of life starts to deteriorate, it's only a matter of time before your trading, your investing, and your decision-making abilities will deteriorate as well. They do go together.
You
So
know,
if you could fill me in a little bit about the professional you brought on recently in that aspect.
oh, I'm so glad you said that, because, you know, I find what you just said is key, because I find, you know, I'm 75 years old, and most of my friends, just to be perfectly honest with you, uh, I should say a lot of them don't know whether they're a poached egg or a potted plant. Okay.
Okay.
and and part of the reason I watched first, they let themselves go physically. They let themselves go physically, and the mental followed.
Wow.
Okay. So you have to keep alacrity in all elements of your life. Okay. And that's why, you know, that's why we're bringing Dave, the fitness guru, on to help people understand. The other day I was talking to him, and I said, Dave, I know you'll help people understand. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to go lift weights when you're over 60 years old, over 50. Well, for most people, unfortunately, you know, they think it's tough all the time, but they got to do it. And he said, Carter, that's not my message. My message is it's not tough. As a matter of fact, it's so rewarding that if once you get into it, you'll enjoy it. And
I'm living proof of that. You try to take that away from me, and that's fighting words.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, it's so funny you say that, because I know that, you know, we're supposed to be talking financial, but fitness, it all goes together. It's all part of the same mix. And with me, I don't, you know, I do it religiously. And I mean, I lift a lot of weights. I don't look like Schwarzenegger, but I lift a lot of weights, and I don't enjoy it. I do not say, oh, goody, tonight I'm going to go down in the basement and spend an hour pushing around a bunch of heavy metal. I don't look forward to that. But you know what? I absolutely do it, and I'm proud of myself for doing it. And I feel great once I'm done. So whether the people who do it look now, you know, some people I watch interviews like Schwarzenegger. I've watched him interview. He loved it. He looked forward to getting to the gym. So it's a dichotomy there. But the bottom line, though, and I think you'll agree with this, Romulus, is whether you like it or you don't like it, do it.
You got to do it. So how about this? Why don't we set up a little scenario? I'm in this to help out with the trading, the investing, the financial markets, the money, to make sure that the money's moving along to get to that good life. And once you're there, to maintain it. But how about this? You know, the trading style that I have, you're starting to learn more about it. It doesn't take 90 hours a week. As a matter of fact, I do most of the work. It takes my centurions, my clients, about a total of maybe an hour a week to do this.
Great.
And we've made 25% so far this year without doing more than an hour's worth of work a week. Phenomenal. So you're living down in Honduras, you're in Belize, you're in Panama, maybe you're in the new place over on the west coast of Nicaragua, which is beautiful, by the way. I haven't been, but I'm planning on going and checking that out. I've personally been to Costa Rica and El Salvador many times, Mexico many times, but I want to get. So there you are. You wake up with a coffee with Carter, and the coffee was grown in the mountain 20 feet behind your house, by the way.
Precisely.
So you wake up to your own cup of coffee that your neighbor and friend grew in the mountain right behind you. You've got eggs, beans, rice, and a recent chicken that you heard a couple of days ago running around in the neighbor's yard, and that's your breakfast. You're looking out over the ocean. You go, and here's the physical part. You take a leisurely swim to get the body going, to help maintain the joints and the muscles and lubrications. You come out, you look at the markets. Romulus is talking about doing a trade. You take 5 minutes, you do the trade, and then you're back on the porch studying up, reading, or maybe going into town to go check out some new art exhibit that is frequently going around these Latin American neighborhoods these days.
Right. Yeah.
Does that sound like a life? Because it does to me.
It's a great life. That's a great life. And I'm glad you brought up the point that your advice, 25% is phenomenal return. It's phenomenal. As I said in my introduction to you, that's Warren Buffett territory. And that's phenomenal return. So folks, if you are there thinking about, well, I need to get the money together to make my move, check out what Romulus is saying about where the smart money is going. If you're already down there, as Romulus just said, the supplement to your income, the potential supplement to your income while following his lead, can help you live like royalty. Am I right? Am I right, Romulus?
Well, look, I have been down to these areas many times, and some of the hotels I stayed in, I've been to Europe, lived in Europe extensively, been to Asia. Some of the nicest hotels I've ever stayed in my life were in the east coast of Mexico. And
Yeah.
Before I went to the first time, I was kind of surprised when I got there, and it was an eye opener. And of course, again, I've been to Costa Rica, been to El Salvador, Mexico, lived in these places, spent a lot of time there, and it's just the settings, the scenery, the accommodations, the physical accommodations, and of course the company with the people of just these amazingly great attitudes toward life. And there you are again, enjoying all of this while doing a little bit of work in the markets. Now, I can spend time, Carter, teaching you or anybody a lot more about trading and investing if that's what their interest is, where if they want to put more time in, I can help them do that. I love it. It's my passion. That's one of the things I really feel that I was put on this earth for. Great. I can help you do. I can help turn you into a stock market ninja if that's your desire.
Okay? Excellent.
But if you don't want to put that kind of time in, if you're looking at, oh yeah, a couple minutes a day, an hour a week, that sounds about my speed, and I want to make enough money, I'm not looking for 300, 400% a year because that would take a lot more time. I'm looking for the little bit of a lower commitment time route. Well, we can do that. And that's what most of the Centurions check out. Look at last week, Thanksgiving. We all have an excellent time, hopefully. Wake up Friday morning, South African COVID strain, and the markets get roiled because of this. Yeah. And we come into this week, there's more of that news. Plus, we've got the Federal Reserve talking extensively about getting more hawkish and turning more aggressive against the interest rate environment. The markets get hit. Before going any further, audience, what did that do to your gut when you saw the stock market drop 5, 10, and your own portfolio drop 5, 10, 15% in a matter of just a few days? What does it do to your head, your emotions? What does it do to your relationships with your family? How do you feel?
Yeah.
Alternatively, how would you have felt after these several days of this turmoil? You're looking at your portfolio and maybe you've made a little money, maybe because we made money. We made money during all of this.
You made money while everything was collapsing. You made money for
we made money in all this. Yes, we made money.
Fantastic.
But what if you made money with us, or maybe you only gave up a small amount. Maybe you only lost 1%. You wouldn't feel that. You'd just be happy going along your life, and that's a reality.
Right.
By joining forces with the Offshore Club, with Club Romulus, with Carter, and we're going to be here. So one of the things I certainly wanted to bring up, though, to assuage some of the fears, is that despite the bad news of any type of a COVID problem, it doesn't matter where it's coming from. We don't want people to suffer, of course. You know, we are good humans, and we don't want other humans suffering. So when we hear that, we're not happy about it. That's bad. The Federal Reserve situation, that messed up a lot of people's portfolios. I understand that. However, there was enough momentum built into this stock market over the past several months and even year and a half to suggest that the highs are not in, that this was not the start of a new bear market. It may be rough for a few days, a few more weeks, but over coming months, we'll see new highs. At that point, you can make clear-minded decisions about what you should or shouldn't do with your portfolios. And as an aside, I would also continue to be a little bit careful about the bond market. Even if you're retired, the interest rates today are still very low. The rates should go higher, which means bond prices should continue to go lower over the next several months. There's just a couple of short-term and intermediate-term thoughts for the club, for the group.
So when you say about the bonds, and you know, I'm a blue-collar type person, are you saying that now is not a good time to invest in bonds?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, look, the U.S. 10-year, which is what our federal government borrows, they're paying 1.45%. And a lot of interest rates, doesn't matter if it's corporate, you know, big companies like Microsoft or Coca-Cola, or interest rates you get from the bank, they're still so low, it's not worth it. And the Federal Reserve is going to start, soon will embark on an interest rate raising campaign, a concerted effort over the next 18 months to raise interest rates in America and around the world. Europe will get on board. Japan will get on board. China will get on board. South America, Asia, Africa will get on board. They'll all follow the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Federal Reserve lead. And as interest rates go higher, bond prices go lower. I can get into why later.
Okay, good.
Right.
Good,
There's that opposite relationship. So with interest rates, they're not, look, you were around in 1979. You know how high they got.
Yeah.
They're not going to get that high ever again. But from the low base that they are right now, well, it won't take much. But don't get involved today because interest rates will go higher. Bond prices will most likely slip over the next 18 months. Not a
Okay.
problem.
Excellent. Thank you. Excellent analysis. What about the stock market overall? Is it going to continue to go up, or do you think it's going to level? Or are we
short term, I'm still a little bit careful with the volatility, but over the next 2, 3, 4 months, there will be higher prices coming in the stock market for the most part in the S&P 500, in the higher quality names, in the industrial sector, financial sector. Some of the small cap stocks can perform. Over the next 12 months, most likely you'll see higher prices. A little surprising to people when I say that, but there will most likely be opportunities to see higher prices in the stock market even over the next 12 months. A little bit after that, we could start to come into contact with the next bear market. And that, Carter, could start to be a real problem. That next bear market, it's not imminent. It's not tomorrow, next week, or next month. But I'd say anytime between 12 and 18 months from now, the next bear market should begin. And let me tell you, you have better be prepared by then because things are going to get nuts.
All right. But in the meantime, and you'll tell us when you start to see that trend down. But in the meantime, you help people understand. You're helping Offshore Club members understand specific stocks that you think are going to be good investments.
That's why we made money the past week. Yeah, that's why we made money in the past week. Now, that required 5 minutes a day of trading.
Okay.
So hopefully people don't think that's too much time to invest with for their futures. But I've got people in 13 countries, Carter, 13 different countries. My Centurion Nation is all over the world. Excellent. That report back to me on a regular basis. Romulus, I can't tell you how calm I am. Everyone else is freaking out. And here I am just sailing through the turbulence and getting through the hurricane with a good portfolio, good profits, and everyone else I know is losing money. And a comment I got a few days ago was this younger fella, he said, a year ago, before I met Romulus, when this kind of thing happened, I would have been freaking out. Today, I'm calm. Therefore, I know how to make proper decisions, and I'm in there making money.
Right. That's great. That's great. And do you also warn people about stocks that maybe some of the people like, the TV talking head types, I'm going to say like Kramer, push,
right.
But you say, folks, don't go there. I think like one that sticks in my mind, I think it was called Lordstown Motors, electric cars or something.
RIDE took their investors for a ride, right down to the gutter. You know what? Right to the auction yard, right to the junkyard.
Right to the junkyard. So
yes. So when you've been reading my weekly reports, my daily updates already, I touch on all those kind of items anytime I see something that's disturbingly out of place, either up or down, because sometimes the opportunities they're great. They're just so cheap that you can take advantage of something that's low.
Yeah.
But often, a lot of times too, something gets overhyped and you want to avoid something like that. And there's a lot to it. I do the work. You just come along for the ride. Tesla, a good example, when it was at $1,200 a share a couple of weeks ago, it seemed pretty obvious. If Elon Musk and all the executives are trying to sell their stock, why should you try to buy it?
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I know I am speaking on behalf of thousands and thousands of Offshore Club members that we deeply appreciate what you're doing with the Offshore Club, Romulus. Thank you very, very much. And your report comes out in the Offshore Club Gazette. I think, is it Wednesday mornings or Thursday mornings?
I've been told it's Wednesday mornings.
Good.
On a consistent basis. So look for that. It will keep on coming. And my information has been flashing across the screen. Anybody has any questions, directly get a hold of me directly. Call me, text me, email me, whatever you want to do. You guys are now part of the Romulus greater nation. And I don't only want to hear from you directly. I want to hear your plan to get down to Honduras, to get down to Panama, to get down to Nicaragua. And then I want to see you there because, as I've mentioned, I've been to these places many times, and I promise you I am coming back.
It's fantastic. Romulus, thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing for Offshore Club members, and thank you for being with us today.
You got it. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you soon, buddy. Carter. Good night
Merry
now.
Christmas. Thank you. Right. Bye-bye. Very, very smart guy in an area where I am not a very, very smart guy. That's one of those things where when I interview somebody like him, trust me, I am asking the questions I hope you have and that I could never answer. And so I respect that. We all have our areas of strength, And doggone, I wish that were I wish that were one of mine. But thank God we have Romulus in the Offshore Club, in your Offshore Club Guru's Corner. Okay. By the way, we're soon going to be adding the top fitness expert that I know in the Guru's Corner. This guy not only can tell you all the great exercises to do, resistance training, toning up, bulking up if that's what you want, but also the nutritional aspect. Total holistic approach. You're going to love him. I got to be honest with you. I have never in my life met anyone with his expertise. And the nice part is, whether you're a Offshore Club member who lives in the US, Canada, Europe, or down in Central America, he's going to help you get into shape and stay into shape without worrying about equipment. One of the things I found when I lived in particularly Alpino, remember I told you the little town in the middle of nowhere, I didn't have a fitness club. And so when you find someone like him who tells you, you can build muscle, tone up everything without actually needing to buy all the metal. Now, I love the metal. Those of you who follow me on Carib Carter Minutes on social media, a lot of times I'll give you my Carib Carter Minute from my basement dungeon workout room, which is all heavy metal. So I love it, but sometimes you can't have access to it. And Dave, our new Offshore Club fitness guru, is going to tell you how to get just the same results without the expenditure of the metal, or sometimes the access to the metal. So that's something to look forward to. And speaking of the getting fit, all that to me is motivation. It helps you understand that you shouldn't be afraid to make your move offshore. Sometimes I hear from people. I got a note the other day from someone saying that I'm afraid, what if I make my move and everything falls apart? What if I fail? What if I make the move and it doesn't work out for me and I fail and I've taken a big risk? Folks, don't worry about failure. Number one, you're not going to fail. And number two, there's no such thing as failure. There's no such thing as failure. As long as you're alive, there's no such thing as failure, because you keep going. And a lot of times things you thought was failure, you actually build on for your future success. And that's what you're going to find with your offshore move. Even if things go wrong, you're there. And the cost of living is so low that you just shift your focus, right? You shift your focus and you come out way, way ahead, because let me just put it bluntly to you. Central and South America, Latin America is the new land of opportunity. Okay. The US, by the time government gets done pounding you into the dirt with all their licenses and permits and access fees and taxes and over, and you can't do this, you might. The other day, I had a friend come by who's like a brother to me. Love him. Who has a tree cutting business. He said, but the problem is, I'd love to expand it. I'd love to make that. But he said, the state's license is $50,000. I told you several weeks ago, a liquor license in Pennsylvania is $600,000. You don't get anything for that. That's just the government getting its mafia-like vague. Okay. That means it's not the land of opportunity anymore. They used COVID to crush hundreds of thousands of small businesses. The big box stores, they've made record profits. Something wrong there. So the land of opportunity is Latin America now. That's the land of the new American dream. You will not fail, because everything is, the avenues of opportunity are open for you there for anything you want to do. Okay. So as I tell you every week on Coffee with Carib Carter, let's do this thing.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us at the Offshore Club. For more information on the Offshore Club or to contact Carib Carter, visit www.offshore.club today. www.offshore.club. That's www.offshore.club. See you next time at the Offshore Club.